Alrighty, let's take a look at this question. So we have a rectangular lawn measuring 8 meters by 4 meters, and I've kind of drawn that in white. Oh, I guess 8 meters would be the longer side, obviously. So this side length would be 8 meters from here to here, and from here across would be 4 meters. All right, and it's surrounded by a flower bed of uniform width. So we're going to just kind of draw, I guess I'm drawing a blue flower bed, but all the way around. Uniform width, which means this dimension all the way around would be the same on all sides. And they did not mention how big that was. Okay, so the combined area of the lawn and the flower bed is 165. So they're basically saying the entire area. Now, if they mention the entire area, we then would want to think area equals length times width, and that means we're going to need the entire length of the whole thing. That's going to be our length, and we also need our entire width. But we don't want to introduce two new variables. So what's the question asking for? What is the width of the flower bed? Okay, so that dimension all the way around, we're going to make that x, right? The width of the flower bed is going to be x, which means now L and W, we're going to not write or introduce two new variables, but we're going to write the length in terms of x and the width. Now we do know from, let's use a different color here, from this, basically the lawn is 8 meters long. And then if we want the entire dimension, we know from here to here is 8 meters, but then we have to add this much at the end, either end of it is x. So total length would be 8 plus x, so plus 2x would be our length, which means in this equation we can replace L with 8 plus 2x. Now we just need to replace W. So W is your width, and we know the lawn is 4 meters across. Then we have another x at one end, x at the other end. So the total width would be 4 plus x, which would be 4 plus 2x. There we go. We have our width. Now, area. Oh, they told us the area. So 165 would replace A in that equation. A equals L times W, which is the formula for area of a rectangle. And there we go. Now we have an equation with only one variable, x, and we should be able to solve it. So in order to solve a quadratic equation, we want to probably first start with general form, which looks like that. Ax squared plus bx plus c has to equal 0. So we are going to expand the right-hand side. So 8 times 4, we've got 32. 8 times 2x would be 16x. 2x times 4 would be 8x, and 2x times 2x would be plus 4x squared. There we go. And now we want 0 on one side, so I'm moving the 165 over, and I'm going to rearrange the order and collect like terms. So 4x squared comes first. 16x plus 8x is going to be plus 24x. And then when we subtract 165 to the other side, we would get negative 133, I'd like to say. All right. Well, that's not going to be fun to factor. But let's give it a try. So because there's a 4 in front of x squared, we're going to go 4 times 133, which is going to give us, 1 second, 532, so negative 532. So we're multiplying to negative 532. Huge number. I would not try to do that by hand. What we're going to do is in y1 in your graphing calculator, you're going to put 532 divided by x, and then go to second graph, which is the table, and it shows a table of values like x, y. If x is 1, you get 532 in that table, and then 2 and Where did those numbers go? 1 second. 2 and 266. 3 doesn't go in, you get a decimal. 4 and 133, etc. So, but we were looking for those two numbers to, because it's minus sign, because they'll have opposite signs, we have to have a difference of 24x, that middle term. So you just scroll down until you see two numbers that look like they subtract to equal 24. And if you scroll down, you'd get 14 and 38 will multiply to that number, and those two numbers have a difference of 24. So that would work. Now, whether you use decomposition or this method, which I really like, you go 4x squared, sorry, not 4x squared, 4x times 4x, and you're going to say, but that doesn't equal 4x squared, so we divide by 4. By doing this, we can put those numbers, 14 and 38, straight in, and we want positive 24 when we add them, so negative 14 plus 38. And then we want to divide 4 into one of them, but it doesn't go into either completely. So 4 would break down to 2 times 2. And then what we do is we divide 2 into the first factor to get 2x minus 7, 2 into the second factor to get 2x plus 19, and now we are factored. Now, if you do decomposition, you should still end up at this place. Okay, so we set each factor to 0 now that it's equal to 0, because that was the plan. If you multiply two things together to equal 0, either one could equal 0. And solve each of those, you get x equals 7 over 2, x equals negative 19 over 2. That's not going to work because that's negative. And so back to x equals 7 over 2. And that was what we were looking for, the width of the flower bed. So you say the width of the flower bed would equal, and I'm going to write 3.5 instead of 7 over 2. And the units would be meters. And there we go. That's how you do it. I hope that helped.